A former CIA contractor just went on record about Ripple and XRP, and what he said should make every crypto investor stop and pay attention. Because this isn't some Twitter influencer hyping a bag. This is a man who's advised governments, moved in the highest financial circles on Earth, and watched monetary systems collapse from the inside. His name is Jim Rickards. And he's not just talking about XRP as a cryptocurrency, he's talking about it as a potential ESDR, a reserve asset for the entire global financial system. But before we get there, there's something else happening right now that could blow up the entire crypto market, and almost nobody is talking about it. Let's start with the ticking time bomb hiding in plain sight. Stablecoins. You've heard of Tether? You probably use it. It's the biggest stablecoin in the world, and over 80% of all Bitcoin purchases are made with Tether, not actual dollars. Think about that, the asset the whole world calls digital gold is mostly being bought with a coin that's never had a full audit. Not once. Not in over a decade. Here's how the stablecoin game actually works. You hand Tether $1. They hand you a coin. They promise you get the dollar back whenever you want. Simple enough. But here's the part they don't put on the brochure. Tether takes your dollar and buys treasury bills. They earn 3 to 4% interest on those bills. You get nothing. They keep everything. It's essentially free money at scale. And it's why the Trumps, Howard Lutnick, and some of the most powerful names in finance are neck-deep in stablecoin ventures right now. But Rickards is sounding the alarm. And here's why you should listen. First problem, Tether is quietly hoarding treasury bills, not trading them, just holding them. That sounds safe until you realize they're draining the available supply of one of the most critical financial instruments on Earth. Treasury bills are used as collateral across the entire derivatives market. When that supply dries up, the whole chain tightens. Second problem, human nature. Said it plainly. Somewhere out there, at least one stablecoin sponsor is stealing the money. He's not accusing Tether specifically, but he would bet a very large amount of money that a Bernie Madoff exists inside the stablecoin world. We just haven't found them yet. Remember, the New York State Attorney General already sued Tether for fraud. To settle, Tether handed over one thing, a pie chart. Not a ledger, not line items, a pie chart. And over 50% of that chart was commercial paper, unsecured I owe us, not treasury bills, not guaranteed. Not safe. You know what the biggest commercial paper issuer was in 2008? General Electric. You know what happened to GE? It had to be bailed out by the federal government. Here's the scenario that should terrify you. One fraudulent stablecoin collapses. Panic spreads. Everyone rushes to redeem at once, even the honest sponsors. Now those honest sponsors have to dump $100 billion in treasury bills in a matter of days. The most liquid market on Earth seizes up, and the entire crypto market implodes with it. This isn't doom scrolling. These are the mechanics. Rickards sees it coming. He just can't tell you when. The smart money? Staying away from Tether. RLUSD/USDC. Keep it clean. Now let's talk about Charles Hoskinson, because apparently attacking Ripple has become a full-time job for him. Hoskinson went on record again recently, claiming Ripple gave themselves 70 to 80% of the XRP supply, uses XRP token sales to fund their business acquisitions, and that XRP holders have no legal ownership of any of those assets. Look, some of those points are worth discussing. The SEC case literally documented Ripple's XRP liquidation events. That's not a secret. But here's the thing. Every time Hoskinson opens his mouth about XRP, nobody runs to buy Cardano. Nobody. I do 2-hour live streams every Tuesday and Friday. You know how many people ask me about Cardano? 0. Meanwhile, ETFs are being discussed for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, and XLM. Cardano isn't in that conversation. Charles, build your thing. Grow your community. But every time you try to build a bridge toward the XRP army, you burn it down. And then you wonder why nobody's crossing over. That's enough time on this. Moving on. Here's something that should concern every person who holds assets, digital or otherwise. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, just admitted that major financial institutions have never faced a truly successful cyber attack. Yet, his exact framing, we're in the levee building business, not the hurricane prevention business. The hurricanes are coming. We just don't know the direction. Here's what he didn't say out loud, but the data does. Over the last 12 to 14 months, the Trump administration has overseen the layoff of hundreds to over 1,000 federal cybersecurity staff. The bulk of those cuts hit CISA, the main U.S. cyber defense agency. Within the Department of Homeland Security alone, 176 employees were cut, most of them in cybersecurity and infrastructure security. We are having the loudest conversation about financial cyber resilience while simultaneously firing the people protecting us from it. When Powell says a major financial cyber attack is coming, I believe him. And when that happens, systems built on legacy infrastructure collapse first. Systems built on blockchain rails? That's a different story. Now to the part that ties everything together. The IMF's Christine Lagarde, one of the most powerful financial voices on earth, just stated clearly, if digital finance is the future has already arrived. She wasn't being philosophical, she was signaling. And then there's Canada. In March 2026, Canada's Parliament passed Bill C-15, a new federal stablecoin act. The Bank of Canada now has direct oversight of fiat-backed payment stablecoins. Issuers must register. Coins must be fully backed one-to-one with the Canadian or US dollar. And interest payments on stablecoins? Banned. Here's why that matters for XRP. The Prime Minister of Canada is Mark Carney. Before politics, Carney ran the Bank of England. The Bank of England ran tests with Ripple. Carney oversaw those tests personally. He knows exactly what this technology does, and now he's running a G7 country with a brand new blockchain-integrated financial framework. Meanwhile, XRP demand is at record highs in South Korea and Japan. More countries are starting to trade XRP above Bitcoin and Ethereum. The global equity market cap shift has started, and if Rickards is right, if XRP becomes part of an ESDR framework at the IMF level, the asset you're holding right now gets reclassified from crypto token to global reserve instrument. Jim Rickards worked with central banks. He watched the 2008 collapse up close. He's been right before when the crowd laughed at him. And right now, he's looking at a system full of unaudited stablecoins, overextended derivatives, shrinking treasury bill supply, and crumbling cyber defenses. He sees what's coming. The question isn't whether the old system breaks. The question is, what replaces it? Drop your thoughts below. And if you got value from this, share it. The people sleeping on this information are the ones who are going to regret it most.